Hey everybody, welcome back to Laptop Seniors. Today we're going to buy a hypothetical timeshare, and I'm going to take you through 10 points that you really need to have in place to buy a timeshare. If you don't have all 10 of these, then you're probably going to have a problem down the road with your timeshare. If you do have these, the likelihood that you're going to be really happy with your timeshare, despite everything, is going to be pretty high. So let's go through those 10 items that you actually need to look for and be careful about when buying a timeshare, and put these babies in place. Number one, the prime directive. This is the big one. You have to understand that the moment you buy a timeshare, no matter what the price is, that it's really going to be worth nothing, because most people have a stigma about timeshares and they don't want them. So, it's supply and demand. There's a supply, but there's not a lot of demand. That doesn't mean a timeshare is bad by any stretch. And again, I'm not selling you any timeshares here, but I'm just telling you that in the right circumstances, they can be good. But you have to understand that the moment, like if they were a car, the moment you drive off the lot, they're not worth anything. Relatively speaking. And they might be worth $1 or $2 grand because they're super opulent in an amazing, place that you're going, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, or something like that. But for the most part, you have to think like it's not worth anything. That's the big one. That's number one. Always bear that in mind because it has ramifications all the way down the line. Number two, only buy from a resale site, because usually on a resale site, you're buying from another owner and the other owner wants to get rid of their timeshare. I don't mean a resale site where it's a company trying to make a profit on selling a timeshare, because they're going to give you some big spiel. Oh, this is worth $10,000 or $12,000. What a bargain. They originally paid $40,000 for it. Yeah, you don't want that. You want to go right to somebody who doesn't want their timeshare anymore and will pretty much do anything to get out of it. They'll take $1,000, they'll take $500, they'll take $1. In some instances, I actually had that happen to me. People paid me to take their actual timeshare. It was free, and they paid the transfer fee to move it to me. Okay, and actually, I did that a couple times myself, just to move a timeshare out that I didn't want anymore. So never ever buy from the timeshare company, because the price will always be super crazy inflated. Number three, always look for location. They say in real estate that real location, that's everything. Well, it's the same with timeshares. You want to be in a high tourist destination that people want to go to, because as we'll get to, that gives you trading value, okay? Which is really handy. It also makes the actual place more valuable when you want to get rid of it. Even though you may not get anything for it, or maybe you only get $1, it just makes it easier to sell. If it's in the middle of, Iowa, somebody going to want to go there? Probably not. But if it's like across the street from Disney World, totally different deal. Or if it's in Miami or West Palm Beach or Vegas or San Diego, someplace, or Paris or London, someplace where people want to go, easy to get rid of them. Number four, and this goes along with the location, you want a red week. You want a prime time red week. That's what you want to buy. The way timeshares come, they have different connotations, but usually it's like red, blue, white, or sometimes it's red, green, white. You want red week, because red is prime time and you get your choice of any of the weeks in a year that you want to go. And it's where the demand is. Red means high demand. You don't want a white week, which tends to be when people don't travel. It's kind of like beginning of school, right around those couple weeks. And when school lets out, right around those couple weeks, nobody's traveling then, and therefore nobody wants a timeshare then. The prices will be lower, but as we just went through with number one, pricing of a timeshare is really meaningless. It has no bearing on anything, really, other than whether you're getting ripped off or not. Number five, maintenance fees. This is a really big one, and boy, I could do a video totally on maintenance fees. Maybe I will at some point. But you have to understand that maintenance fees now are pretty high, but they used to be reasonably low. They were fair. And little by little, companies, they choose to raise the maintenance fee up year after year after year. Think of it as like an apartment rental. You go into the rent and maybe the rent is $800 a month for a 1-bedroom. And 10 years later, they're asking $2,000 for your 1-bedroom for a rent. And you go like, wait a minute, how did that happen? Well, you have to be careful about the maintenance fee. And if you're going into a timeshare You want a good rule of thumb that I sort of ended up using was Airbnb. So you'd want to look at where you want to go. So let's just say it's, you want to be around Disney World, okay? And you want to be around Disney World in January or February, when it's warm down there and cold somewhere else. Well, you want to look on Airbnb and go, what is something that you'd be comfortable being in? What does it rent for? You look and you go, oh, these Airbnbs for a week, they're $2,000. I mean, maybe they're $1,500, maybe they're $1,000. I'm just using this for easy math. So say it's $2,000, and almost all of them that you'd like to go to with a nice pool, proximity to Disney World, all that sort of stuff, they're $2,000 for the week that you want to go at the time, okay? You want then a maintenance fee that's half of that, okay? So you want a maintenance fee that's somewhere around $1,000 or less, because when you go there, you're going to be saving essentially $1,000 every time you go to your timeshare because you only paid $1 for it. If you pay $1, you got no money into it, or even $1,000, you're going to make it up in the first year, or $800 or $600. If you pay something low for the timeshare, then all of a sudden the maintenance fee is immaterial. You could care less because you know that if you wanted to go to this particular place, you're going to have to pay twice as much, because I can guarantee you that that maintenance fee will go up faster than the rents on those Airbnbs. For some reason, timeshare companies, when I say timeshare companies, it's the owners of the timeshares, it's the people who build the resorts and run the resorts. Lately, they've been jacking up pricing on maintenance fees. Instead, it used to be like you'd go up 2%, 3%, 4%. Now they go up like 15%, 20%, 18% a year. So look for a timeshare maintenance fee that is low and there's room for it to grow and you're still fine with it. Like in theory, from what I just described, if it costs $2,000 to rent and your maintenance fee is $1,000, you could actually go all the way up to $2,000 and still be kind of okay. You'd be even at worst. But I keep sticking to the 50% rule. Number 6, this encompasses a lot of things, and it encompasses the Red Week part that I was talking about, and location and all of that. Buy a timeshare when you go to get one. It's one that you want to go to year after year after year. It doesn't have to be every single year, but the majority of years you're going to want to go to your timeshare. A big selling point of timeshares that people go into who are selling you, particularly when you go to those meetings, hey, let's have breakfast and we'll just want to talk about, timeshares and investing in timeshares and how good they are, and then they're going to give you the hard sell, okay? One of the hard sells is, and it looks really attractive, and it actually can be really attractive. The whole thing that they push is you can trade, and you can. If you owned a timeshare in Orlando, Florida, right by Disney World, you could turn in your timeshare. Let's say it's a 2-bedroom. You put it into a trade bank like Interval World or RCI, where you can trade it to go somewhere else. And you could pick out like, hey, I want to go to Barcelona. And you could just take it out and go to Barcelona instead. Now, the downside of that is that there is a 250, 265, 275, like, I don't know what it is right now. I probably should have looked. The last time I looked, it was 265. It seems like every year they jack it up higher and higher and higher. I know when I started, it used to be like $90, but I mean, that was a ways back, but it keeps getting higher and higher and higher. So it becomes expensive to trade to go somewhere else, particularly if you want to go somewhere, let's say you had 3 timeshares and you wanted to go somewhere, or you've been banking your timeshares. This happens a lot. Say you don't go to your timeshare for 3 years. Each year you've banked it. You put it into the banking and they owe you. Put another one into the banking and they owe you. Put another one into the banking and they owe you. And you go like, you know what, I put 3 in, I want 3 out. I want to go now to, let's just say Barcelona again, just as an example. So you want to go to Barcelona. Well, now you have to pay $265, $270 for every one of those weeks. So 270, 270, 270, 270. Is that 4 or 3? Anyway, so what is that? 3 7s are 21, and you already got 6. So it's $810. You have to pay $810 to go 3 weeks on top of the maintenance fees that you've already paid for your unit. And the maintenance fees may already have been $1,000, let's just say, for each of those weeks that you turned in. So now you have $3,810 in that you want to go away for 3 weeks. On Airbnb, you can probably quite easily go somewhere for $2,600 or $2,800 and find a nice place in Barcelona or anywhere else for the whole month. Not just 3 weeks, but for the whole month. So you really have to be careful about not wanting to trade too much. Number 7, this is one that's breakable, but I would say lean into it if you can, and I'll give you an example. I own a one-bedroom at Shanty Creek. It's like a chalet type place in northern Michigan. There's 3 or 4 golf courses within a mile of the front door to the resort. It's great, and the maintenance fee is low, although it has been going up the last couple of years. But it's still really, really good. But I have a fixed week. I have the week of July 4th, the 4th of July weekend and the 4th of July week, which just coincidentally happens to be the same week, like that's America's celebration, and a legal holiday, but it's also Canada's, because Canada Day is July 1st. So you have Canada Day July 1st, and then the 4th of July, that's my week. It's a prime week, it's a red week prime, but the point being of a fixed week is it's locked to me. Other people have ownership at that resort and they have a floating thing of 1 to 52, or either red time or blue time or white time. Mine doesn't move around, mine is that week. I always have the best choice because I own it. Nobody can take it away from me. So, again, sometimes it's hard to do, but if you think like, gee, I think I'd always want to go away for spring break for your kids' schooling, you figure out when spring break always is. Maybe I'll just make this up, but maybe it's the week roughly of March 18th. Say that's what it is. Well, that's the week you want. You want to buy one and lock it. Okay, sometimes it's not easy to do. It's hard to find, but if you can find it, lock it down, take a fixed week. Number 8, this may come up, and that's a lock off. And what's a lock off? I don't know what that is. Did you ever go into a hotel and there's 2 hotel rooms and one's on the right, one's on the left? And if you go in either one of them, you see that door that will connect the two. If you open the door, then it becomes one big 2-bedroom. That's essentially what a lock off is. The way they work is there's usually one door from the hallway that opens, and then you immediately are confronted with 2 doors. If you take the door to the right, there would be a full 1-bedroom apartment with a full main kitchen. If you take the door to the left, there'll be a studio apartment and there'll be like a partial kitchen. There'll be maybe a little fridge. There probably won't be any burners, but there will be a microwave, maybe a coffee maker, that's it. Where the other one, it's got a full kitchen, oven, dishwasher, the whole deal. There's either a door where they connect, or what people do is they keep the door locked to the hallway and they open up the other 2 doors, the one that could go to the right or go to the left, and it becomes a full 2-bedroom apartment. And that's kind of bizarre. You think, well, why would you want that? Well, here's why. Because so many people, and we used to do this all the time, you pay your maintenance fee, and now what you have the ability to go to your resort once and use the 1-bedroom, but not use the other side. And you can go back again and use the studio apartment, but not use the one. So for one maintenance fee, you can go to your resort twice at 2 different times of the year. It's fantastic. It's really good. Or what also a ton of people do, they will go and they'll use the 1-bedroom side and then take that studio and bank it on one of the banking services like RCI or Interval World, okay? Again, you basically almost always get 2 vacations for the price of 1, which now becomes you are really saving money. Timeshares can be really good in the right circumstances, which I'm giving you here. Number 9, except in very unique situations, do not buy a points membership. Okay, and I'll tell you the difference. When you own a week's membership, you own a week of a resort. You own a deed to a week. Say it's a Marriott resort and it's right by Disney World. Well, what they do is they have 52 weeks to a year. Usually they sell 50 of them. They hold back 2 for maintenance and for cleaning, and fixing, changing the furniture, painting, and all that sort of stuff. So there's 50 weeks that they sell to 50 different people. You own, deeded to you that particular week. And the inventory is finite. They can't overbook it, they can't oversell it, they can't over anything because it's 50 weeks. And there's 50 deeds. For points memberships, there is no deed. It doesn't go to anything. It's just a membership to the company that's selling them. But when somebody sells you a points membership, it's easy for them to oversell. It's kind of like overselling the seats on an airplane. You know, maybe there's 200 seats and they actually book 250 people, and then you got a problem. And the problem is when you want to go somewhere in their system using your points, there's too many people trying to get the same stuff, and it's always, oh, not available, can't get that. And then you get forced off into the time to travel that nobody wants to go. So if you can, don't ever buy a points membership. Now, that being said, I still have 4 points memberships. So you're probably thinking, well, wait a minute, you told me in the other video that you had 4 points things. Like, well, why are you saying don't get them now? One, I learned it along the way. Okay, that was number one. But the points memberships that I have just happen to be that they expire in not too long of a period. It's the only instance where a points membership is okay. So what you want to look for if you want to get a points membership, and this is the only instance where they're kind of okay, is if it expires. You don't want an open-ended one. Mine, as an example, I have 4 of them. One expires next year, and another one expires the year after that. And then I think the other one, 2 are like 3 or 4 years away from that. Now, I've had them probably 10 or 12 years, but I bought them specifically because they didn't have a very long time frame. Next year, when the one expires, it just stops. I don't have to pay the maintenance fee anymore. I don't own it anymore. It's gone. I'm out. The only real detriment about timeshares is having when you don't want it anymore, and everybody hits that point where you don't want the timeshare anymore. There's always a reason. The tough part is getting rid of them, and and that's the whole purpose of the video, this video right here, of how to get rid of your timeshare. Like I mentioned in the first timeshare video, at one point I had 30 timeshares and points memberships. I've gotten rid of all the rest, and I'll tell you how I did that in this video right here, how to get rid of your timeshare. But that's the big thing, trying to get rid of a timeshare. It's not really that hard, and it makes it so much easier when you realize that it's not worth very much. Number 10 is more common sense than anything, but I thought I'd throw it out here because maybe you might not think of it. When you're about to buy a timeshare, if you're looking at something and you're thinking about it, before you ever sign that deed and get into it, you want to check out the company's reputation itself. And I'm talking about the ones that actually run the resorts. They own the resorts. Their name is on the resort and all the letterhead. They're going to be handling things for you, keeping everything up to date, keeping the maintenance going, charging the maintenance fees. You want to know about their reputation. I mean, a good place to find that is going on Tug. I don't get anything from those people. I just have a membership. I've had it for years. They have forums on there where owners really unload. Plus, they tell you about law changes. So you might have, hypothetically, you might have a timeshare, and all of a sudden the law might change in the state that you have the timeshare in. Like, let's just say it's Nevada. The timeshare laws in Nevada might change, and all of a sudden, if you want to get rid of it, they need to take it back, no questions asked. They'll tell you about that, and you'll see it in the forum. Great information. You want to know that going in before you ever sign on the dotted line. And let's do one more, just a bonus one, number 11. I'll just throw this out to you. If you can do it, just look for it. Contracts, like that points one I was mentioning, the one that I have, contracts that expire versus an open-end date, they're the better ones to have. You want something, if you can do it, that expires. Mexican contracts usually expires. Some of them have 25-year terms. Like if you bought one brand new from the company, it would have 25 years. Other ones have 50, which is a long time to have to own something because you just know somewhere down the road it's going to be a problem getting rid of it. Now, somebody might have had it, that 50, and you buy it with only 10 years left to go, much like those points things that I was mentioning that I have. Then they're good. You want something that expires if you can manage that and pull that off. There you go. Hope those 10 tips, 11 tips actually, help you if you're thinking about buying a timeshare and you're kind of in the midst of it, or if actually you even have a timeshare right now, you might want to check your situation against the 10 things that I just went through and see, how many do you have? Where are you off? So anyway, hope that helped. As always, subscribe to the channel. It really helps us grow. The more people that watch the videos, the more people that pass them on, the more times YouTube will actually send this off to somebody else who has a timeshare, who shows an interest in timeshares or anything else that we're doing. The whole purpose of what we're doing this channel, Laptop Seniors, is We're seniors. I retired in 2009. My wife obviously retired along with me, and we just set out, because that was our thing, to travel the world. And in the midst of that, we just found out that if you watch carefully and choose what you're doing, it's not real expensive to travel and do a type of life that you never think you'd be able to do. It's not that expensive. But you can also get carried away and blow a ton of money, and then you're screwed. What we want to do on this channel, and what I'm trying to do, is show you how not to make mistakes and how actually have your money go farther and have a great retirement. It's just that simple. So if you like this, hit the like button. That's that thing that looks with the hand up. And also, if you want to get notified for any new videos, and we're running the gamut of how to save money, where to go, reviews, we got pretty much everything in store for you. If you hit that bell, that's a notification. You'll get an email that say, hey, there's a new video. Take the shot and watch the new video of Laptop Seniors. Okay? So glad that you're here. Love that you're watching. We will see you on the next video. See ya.